Do you go to the bathroom or anything?
No, no, I'm cool.
Okay.
Do you?
Uh,
You all right?
I could go, but I'm good. I'll hold it. I think I'll be fine.
You sure you don't want a breakfast taco or anything?
Well, see, I do fasting. How do you feel about fasting?
Oh, what intermittent fasting?
Yes.
So okay, so when do you do it from, and when do you restart?
Okay, so I try to do a minimum of 12 hours.
Okay,
And then I try to shoot for 14 to 16 somewhere every day, somewhere in there. But I try to always do a minimum of 12. And I've gone longer than 16, but like from what I can tell, like you have to get out of a dicey point and then you kind of start like cruising. And it's hard for me to get
say,
past that first dicey hill. You know what I mean?
how long have you been trying it for then?
Um, like well over a year.
Well, over a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? So when? Okay, so when is your last meal? What time?
Usually at like 8 p.m.
8 p.m. and then your first meal.
Usually like noon, 1, 2,
Yeah. Okay, and when do you normally get up?
6 a.m.
Holy shit, 6 a.m. Why'd you get up so early?
For work. I like, well, one, I get up, I do have morning stuff and things like that, but I get up like way before, and then I do like work for my podcast, and that's when I do all like my social media posting. And so I'm not doing it during the day. I try to knock it all out early in the morning so I'm not on it later. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, okay. Well, quite simply then, how do you feel on the fasting? Do you feel good? Do you feel any change?
Actually, I prefer fasting. Like if I'm going to do like a podcast like today, like
Yeah.
I had some coffee, which I have on my fast. I don't know if that's okay, but I have some coffee on my fast. But like if I eat now, I'll get kind of so like I almost feel energized when I haven't eaten. And that is a very addictive feel. It makes me want to well, I'll just wait a little bit longer to eat because I feel like my body will start to kind of, you know what I mean? But I don't know if that maybe, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm trying to decipher, right? So, yeah, it's quite a big thing now, intermittent fasting. And I've always told people just to be careful because there is a point where you can, whatever you want to say, cross over the threshold, right? So, when you don't eat right, your metabolism or your thyroid can slow down to preserve energy, right? Because therefore, if the brain or the thyroid knows that you're not getting any nutrients in, right? They shut everything down, they slow everything down so that you don't become hyper, energetic and burn through everything, right? So therefore that there's a crossover point when you start to feel a little bit jittery, like when you're high on adrenaline,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And that's a bit of a not a danger zone, but I suppose you could say it's a point where you got to bring it back and get some nutrients in or cut the fast back by a couple of hours, right? Because therefore your brain is lacking in glucose, and then you go into gluconeogenesis, which is when your brain's like, shit, there's no food coming in. Scotty's doing a little bit too much spending energy, right? So we got to get some protein and fats to feed the brain and the central nervous system, which is like hierarchy to everything. So you get it from your muscles, your tissues, your organs, your joints, and things like that. So also be aware of physical issues like, I'm getting a little bit of a funky back here, which I've never had before, or, I don't know, there's always a little signal that your body will say. But then also look at all the other physiological responses, like going to the bathroom. Even when you pee, look at your pee. How does it smell? Or, look at your shit. Are you going at the right time? Is it sticking together? Is it breaking apart? Or is it coming out too fast? When you go to bed, when you hit the pillow, do you totally pass out, or does it take you 30 minutes to an hour? Just every little thing, try and log it, because if you feel good, that's great. But if you feel too good, if you know what I mean, then
Mhm.
you might be hitting that marker.
Well,
So you just have to
let me
wait.
also add in this. So,
Yeah.
when I go to work, there's a coffee place like right down the way, and
Hmm.
remember we had the conversation about breakfast tacos.
Yeah.
Well, they have breakfast tacos there, but they get them from somewhere else. and they have one that doesn't have eggs in it. It's like a vegan breakfast taco. And if
Okay.
I go in the morning and they actually have tacos left and they actually have one of those left, I'll break my fast and have one. Like I don't like, I don't stick it. Like if I'm feeling it that day, I'm like, you know what? I could do breakfast today. I'll just go ahead and have it. Like, but what I really, I could be wrong. What I've really kind of noticed is like, there's just no point for me to eating all the time. Like you know what I mean? And my inflammation of my body stays lower when I'm not like just dropping things in my stomach constantly. And so I just feel better not eating all the time. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So again, there could be slight differences there. I mean, so if your body, or like you said, if you feel inflamed or your body's rejecting some of the food that you do eat, maybe it's the quality of the food, right? So I've always told our kids this. Every kid, every teenager, they're always like, want sugar, 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 Coke this, or I don't know, sweets that, Oreos this, and stuff like that. I keep telling them, if you eat so much, because our son, he used to say, why am I always so fucking hungry all the time? Sorry, he never said fuck. This was like, why am I always so hungry all the time, right? And I'd be like, well, if you actually put everything out in the day of what you've eaten, I'd say about 90% of that stuff is like nutrient deficient. It's processed, or it's like, sweets or candy or biscuits or whatever, right? And when there's no nutrients in it, there's a part in the brain called the apostat, which says, well, keep eating because there's got to be some nutrients coming in. So, for example, a lot of the sodium that they use in these foods, cheap sodium chloride or cheap salt, tricks that part of the brain into thinking it needs a little bit more, so keep eating. And look at everyone today. Everyone's fucking fat as hell, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, geez, I know we're not allowed to say fat, but there's so many people who are actually overweight, and then you delve into what they're eating, and they don't eat that bad, but they're eating the wrong things at the wrong times, or it's not
Or wrong for their body.
wrong for their body. That's right. Ethnicity and metabolic typing, but also I'm a big advocate of organic food. So what I was going to say to you is that, first of all, try eating the same thing, but try and make it 100% organic and see how your body responds. Or, for example, you said a vegan taco, a breakfast
taco. Yes.
taco. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So maybe, Scotty, if I say you should be a vegan right now, you might eat like a vegan and get very ill, very tired very quickly, right? So that's too many carbohydrates, fiber that converts into sugar into your system that your body tries to reject, right? But if I say, right, I want you to eat like the Maasai tribe in Africa, just eat meat and fat, you might really thrive, right? Which is also why, getting back to that post about eggs and cheese, right?
Right.
And then, I don't know, a couple of months before that, I put like, this is my dinner. And I think it was just a steak. And fucking hell, the amount of shit I got from people, they're like, what, you're going to die of a heart attack and all this stuff. So I always throw that out there to stir things up and try to get people thinking. And I always get a lot of messages like, yeah, for example, you said I'm dairy intolerant, stuff like this. Another person said, what's your cholesterol like? Have you seen a doctor? Where are your greens? What time of day? All this stuff. And everyone's always ready to shoot you down, but they don't actually know how healthy you are. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's social conditioning. Well, actually, the doctor said, don't eat protein and fat unless you have vegetables with it, right? Or be more vegan or more vegetarian. It's fucking deadly. It's so, honestly, people, I'll give you an analogy. This is a clinical analogy, right, Scotty? So if you line up 100 people, whatever you want, whatever race, whatever age, whatever it is, each one of those people will secrete pancreatic enzymes, insulin, progesterone, all at different rates and at different times. So, everyone talks about the circadian rhythm. It's like a sleep pattern. It's not just a sleep pattern. Hormones have a circadian rhythm. They get secreted at specific times, other than like if I punch you in the face, they might secrete them then as well, right? So there's always that stress response too. So they get secreted at different times in different amounts. So where do you get hormones from? Where do you get enzymes from? Where do you get all these secretory factors from? It's from fucking nutrition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear about all these people having hormonal issues and HRT and all this shit, first of all, check what they're eating. But it's never that, is it? It's like, oh no, it's your genetics, you know. Oh
Or
yeah, your dad.
just take this medication.
Yeah, exactly. And at some point, and it just fucking drives me nuts. So going back to the analogy, 100 of those people, everything is different. So meaning Bob there should eat a hell of a lot more meat and a lot less greens. And then Sarah here, she needs to eat more greens, more grains, and less meat. And this guy here should be like 80% fat, 10% protein, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so ultimately that's all I teach people. You know, when you delve into what they like, you know, one of my famous questions is, okay, Scotty, you're my client, right? I don't know, you want to lose weight and gain muscle. So if we go out to a restaurant, forget about health, forget about price, what would be your favorite meal and dessert? And then you tell me, right? And then I can decipher to a degree of what your body sways towards, right? Because like I said, conditioning today, you might think, oh, I can't have a steak because my cholesterol will go up and, you know, my iron is really high, whatever it is, you know, and the doctor says, don't eat that, right? But generally when people sway towards certain foods, it's either because it's innate and it's for their blueprint, right? Or they're lacking in something. You know, they're severely lacking in, you know, I don't know, testosterone or you know, estradiol or something like that, you know, that they sway towards, and their body tries to get it from that. And then you go into their personality. Is this guy real slow, like, mañana, you know, really apathetic, or yeah, what I'll do, whatever, you know, stuff like that, or I have no libido and sex, it's okay, kind of thing. Or you get the other types, like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Right.
You know, I want this, I want that, and you know, yeah, let's that, yeah, of course, let's do that. How much? Let's do it right now. You know, so again, you can see how much protein and fat that type of person should have, and that person shouldn't have, and stuff like this. And then you go into their lifestyle. Stress is a huge factor, right? So I mean, stress, you know, cortisol is rife and, you know, throughout the body, but then, you know, a lot of glands, a lot of organs, they only secrete so much, and after a while they're like, okay, fuck you, I'm out of here, this is too much. And that's when they start getting disease and cancers. I'm working with a lady in San Diego in La Jolla right now, and she's got stage 3 breast cancer. And, you know, I'm looking through her bloods and everything, and I'm saying, you know, well, try and eat this, try the sublingual hormone. And it's tough because she's also seeing a doctor and an endocrinologist, right? And they're both, it's like me against them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always give her information. And I'm always like, the body has so much resilience. It's like when you start to feed it, it will repair. When you tell it to go to bed, it will repair. You know, when you get rid of that asshole friend that you don't like who keeps sucking energy from you, you will repair. You know, and stuff like this. But the doctor's like, well, no, you know, we got to give her this pill to bring this up and deplete that and stuff like this. And I'm just like, you know, so she's sort of caught right in the middle. And it because of my passion about health, it gets me really angry, but really fired up at the same time, because again, I see another sort of, everything's like a learning curve, isn't it? No matter negative or positive, you learn from it. And I've seen so many allopathic, you know, medicinal doctors and stuff. They're always giving this type of information or that, you know, and it's just, it's not good information. It's really, it's, you know, it's sad sometimes, and it makes me angry at the same time as well, you know?
Well, look at it this way.
So,
No. Look at it this way. Without you being who you are, where you are, if you weren't there, there wouldn't be these people to find you, and they would just go to these doctors. So because you play that role, which is probably why you were probably meant to be here and what you were meant to do as a person, you provide that option. You can't make everybody show up to it.